Yeah, I've not tried it in Firefox and you've tried it in Chromium, so.
Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead and click on the. And as you look at the screen, you'll see that there are two buttons at the top. One says access my computer, and the other says share my screen.
and they also have them down
Yeah,
here.
and they also have them down there. The access my computer gives you access to, lets you access somebody else's computer. The share my screen allows somebody else to come in.
Okay,
So you can go to either one if you want.
So you
can
want-
look at what's there.
okay,
So
but I need help.
eventually you're gonna get to share.
I need help, so I'm gonna be doing share my screen. Okay, oh, and I have to,
Yeah, you have to be logged in.
I have to have a Google account. All right. I don't know. Chromium isn't gonna do this for me automatically.
Currently, you can use guest mode.
Hmm?
Currently, you can use a guest mode.
Oh, wait,
No,
Yeah.
that's probably better, use guest mode.
I was trying to do that, but it doesn't, it's still making me sign in. Says you can open the. Yes, oh, never mind. I figured it.
not your computer use, oh, no, that's just, you still have to log in, but it's gonna add to your privacy in logging in. Okay,
Another tool I'll never
Well, if you remember last month, I was asking about possible remote tools. Because we were using TeamViewer, and TeamViewer has changed.
See if I
so
remember.
You only get 5 minutes at a time when you're logged in. And then you have to take a 12-minute break.
Grant, you don't use a password manually?
hmm,
You don't use a password manually?
I do, but I happen to remember that one, so. You're, oh, yeah, oops, and Google says, are you trying to sign in? Except that
Yes.
I lost the window now. It briefly said, are you trying to sign in? There we go. Yes, it's me. It was not a text message, it's something.
Pop up of some sort.
So I said, yes, it's me. There we go. Okay. Sure, we'll save it. Okay, you're signed in.
Okay.
Not now.
Okay, so now you see you've got share the screen.
Yep.
It says, would you like to install Chrome Remote Desktop? Remote Desktop is an add-on, so I would go ahead and install it.
Okay, but it looks like you don't have to use it.
I don't know for sure.
Would you like to install Chrome Remote Desktop to this device? With an installed app, you'll be able to use more keyboard shortcuts and the browser toolbar will take up less space. But it looks like you don't have to, so that might be a useful thing for.
And you'll notice over on the left, you have three options. Remote access just gives you the top menu, the share the screen menu. And the remote support gives you the option of connecting to another computer.
Okay,
And so what you're going to do is you're going to do share the screen and click the down arrow, and it's going to give you a number.
didn't I already tell it to download?
Now you probably have to open the extension.
Hmm?
Try opening
What if you have
remote
to open-
desktop again.
Okay. Let's see.
It's-
Switch to the tab. It closed your tab, which is strange.
It
Yeah.
did, yeah. Okay,
Click share the screen.
All there is a download button,
Yeah.
which I already did.
Well, it's supposed to give you a number, that's why.
You'll need to download. Why can't I share? Why can't
Well,
I?
if you click the number, it should give you,
What number?
click the download.
All right, that was to download the extension, which I already did,
Okay.
but could not
And now
download.
click OK.
Try again later.
It's somewhere.
Accept and install. Okay, that was squirrely.
Same thing to me.
Okay, there's a deb file. Well, I guess I should go ahead and install that.
Wonder if the Tri-State network is
I don't know.
Broken.
these giving you issues.
Okay. Ooh, it's potentially unsafe. Okay.
That's where it start.
Yep.
So it's
Now you know it.
What isn't,
Yes,
what isn't potentially unsafe?
yeah. So maybe for an unsophisticated user, it would be easier to just say, don't install the extension and just go ahead and share the screen.
Well, Greg, your browser also says error up there on the right, far right. 3 bars in front of it. So maybe fix that before you can do anything.
Oh, that's your, that's his login.
Anyway, all right, so we've got the Chrome remote desktop is installed. All right, please run the installer from the status bar or downloads folder, which I did.
I don't think you have any room for any more extensions.
See, what's the error on them? This is error.
I don't know what that, okay,
The top
accept.
right corner.
Yes, I know, I don't know what that is.
Right, I'm saying if you click on it, it might tell you.
It's Amazon Quick View. It has to do with some extensions that are disabled. And they don't have anything to do with us. They're Amazon extensions.
You might go down to your extensions, go click on the error menu and go down to extensions.
And
It might be. Turn it
Manage
on.
extensions. See if it's there. Doesn't look like. This remote desktop there.
Yep, right there.
That's
And
right.
it's on.
and it's
Turn on.
turned on. I'm just not sure, like,
I think if you just accept it and.
I mean, I've already installed it.
I don't know enough about Chrome, but by chance you need to restart it.
I can try.
Is it now an application in your menu?
I don't know. We'll check that too.
We just lost the screen share also.
That's because I closed the application.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Let me check the menu. There is a Chrome Remote Desktop app, so let me go back and share my desktop here. Okay. And that's Firefox. Go away. Share this screen, accept and install. I'm really tired of accept and install.
Oh my lord.
Already ran the installer. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, let's go back to. Okay, I got my friend that I usually do this with on it. She's fired up, so we can just go ahead and use hers. So you wanna just, I'll just,
I do wonder if it has something to do with the Bright State Network. That's weird.
Or if it's Chromium, which is Chrome, but then.
I could-
Back on.
I could I could connect through my phone and see if it makes any difference. Or it could be Chromium versus Chrome.
hi, you're on speaker.
Okay,
Are you, okay, I need to share my screen. You've got the computer up and running?
I do.
Okay, I'm gonna stop your screen sharing.
I'm trying to do that right now.
Okay, I could do that.
Every time I click it, it moves.
Yeah, bring up the Chrome.
Google Chrome app.
Yeah, whatever you use to give me the number.
I forget. No, this isn't it. It should give me a new thing. Oh, there we go. Chrome about the desktop. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Okay, it sounds like you open an app then.
Uh-huh. Okay,
Okay,
generate code.
yeah,
You ready?
yep,
Okay, 3 sets of 4 digits. First set, 8944.
hang on a minute.
Okay.
Okay,
8944.
okay,
0788.
okay,
8704.
and I think you have to say, okay,
Yep, you should be good now. It's cranking its way through and thinking about it. Okay, should be there now.
okay, so this is now her computer in Illinois. And you can see down at the bottom, says your desktop is currently shared. And that's my Gmail address. So that's where you would stop the sharing. And, I can take hold of it and move it wherever I need to. And I can come up here and, I can say allow a block or just close the window.
See text and images copied to the clipboard, says a clipboard. Clipboard permissions.
So. At any rate, and. So this is her, you can see it's a Windows machine and, she's got her backdrop. It looks like. I didn't realize it was another app because I was always going through my Brave browser. So, but that's how it works.
It looks like you can do either one. You can just strictly go through the browser or install the app.
Yeah, install the app. So, thanks Heidi.
Okay. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Where did that go? I think that's fine. Okay. So you can see it was kind of a window in the browser. And it brought hers up and I could
Mhm,
move around and do whatever needed to be done.
sure. Have you found any limitations to that, or is it
Not
working?
yet.
Works pretty well in terms of
Yeah.
remote desktop
Yeah.
sort of
And
thing.
she usually doesn't need much. It's usually, how do I attach a file to my email? I'm looking for a job. How do I upload my resume? You know, that kind of thing. So I have to go through and say, okay, remember, this is where your files are. This is how you find them.
So one of the uses that it mentioned was accessing your own computer from elsewhere.
Yeah,
Well, I could see how you could put tell it to, on your home computer, tell it to share.
mhm.
But then when you're elsewhere, how do you get in and get permission? And
Well, what I think is happening is this is going through Google because you're signed in with a Google email.
right, but there were a couple of safeguards that you had to enter a code that the other person had,
Right.
and
You'd have to copy the code.
Yeah,
You'd have to
you
start
did-
it before you left.
you start
Yeah,
it, and they'll give you a code when you start it, and then you copy the code, and then
And
You
when
still
you,
had to click
And you
something.
can use your cell phone if you need to. Yeah, I mean, it's not very easy. It's the whole screen. You got-
Yeah,
gotcha.
but
But-
Heidi still, after Nancy typed in the code, Heidi still had to approve it.
That's what I was remembering.
So that's,
She's-
I don't know. how
Well,
you-
go up and do remote access, Nancy, and let's see what it does.
Well,
Yeah, maybe if you initially connect.
she's already shut down.
No, just set your laptop up for remote access later. So I think you just need to get rid of that box there. at the
Just say
top.
allow, yeah. Just click the allow button, yeah.
And then go to remote access.
Okay, so this is,
Oh,
Yeah. So let me just run the app. And
and you don't have the app. Yeah.
I've got
yeah.
I've got the extension.
That mu-
That's the thing. I've got the extension in here.
Yeah, but there's an app. So and it may be a slightly different process from the share my screen thing. This set up remote access might be a slightly different app or slightly different process from that. And with fewer safeguards and something, I don't know.
So it's, I think, installing something. Yeah, I didn't share my desktop, so.
Choose a name, okay. And then you choose a pin.
Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Now you messed her up, Mike. She was gonna use that.
I use my ex-wife's social security number.
Oh, let me make a note of
Her
that.
birthday and her name, right?
Not saying that she's never gotten magazines she didn't order.
Uh-huh.
But when I started getting baby care ones, I knew who they were from. So she
Mhm.
got Mechanics Universe or something.
Well, at least you got retained about it.
Okay, so that's a slightly different process from if you're
Yeah.
trying to share your screen for somebody for tech support. In this case, you,
And then I assume you have to leave your laptop, your
Your-
computer at home on.
Mhm.
no, it'll remotely turn it on, Mike. And if it's unplugged, it'll plug it in for you.
Cool. I knew people had strong
Well,
fingers.
kick my teenager off.
Once you put the 6 digits in, it might.
Okay, so
If
it's,
you wire the chair up properly.
Yeah.
so you're online. You wanna, yeah. So you want me to see if I can connect to you? Or are you connecting from? Are you connecting from yourself to yourself?
I'm not sure what's going on.
I think you're trying to connect to yourself. Yep, there it is.
Hey, at least it works.
Yeah.
It worked.
That's all I'm gonna do.
All right, well, that's the other setup then for remote access, so we've seen that.
So you set the pin. And
Yeah, actually, that could be a useful thing. I don't know if I'd want to leave it on all the time, but if I had a short-term use where I needed to get to my home computer from work or something like that, I could conceivably start it up that morning and
Or just set a VPN up at home. It's probably easier.
is setting up a VPN is easier than that? No, I don't think so.
No, I just set up, tail scale today, and it
Yeah,
was
it's
really
pretty
easy.
simple.
So anyway, just short, kind of play around kind of.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right.
So I'll stop the sharing.
Cool.
It
Well, thank
felt
you,
like a
Nancy.
real support call with all the difficulties and getting it coordinated. Yeah, good demo.
No, I appreciate that, Nancy, because I didn't know about that until you brought it up at the last meeting as a good remote support possibility. And it sounds like if you don't bother installing the app, if you're happy with just using the browser extension,
Yeah.
like it could be really simple. So
Yeah, I couldn't see where you could use any jest to remotely connect like that, but I was wondering. That's nicer.
I wonder if that app or add-on, does that give like additional permissions? Like, could you like browse the file system if you had to? Like, I think TeamViewer didn't. It used to have some type of function like you could
like
see the
on the
remotes.
on the side, you can go through the files.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not sure.
when I help Heidi, I can go through her, I go through her.
Right, but
She's on Windows, so I go through her file
Right.
explorer.
through the shared screen.
Through the shared
He's talking about a separate side channel utility where you can
Oh.
browse their
I don't know.
files.
I would hope not, but
I don't think so, but I
Wouldn't be
haven't run into
surprised.
that yet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It,
Yeah, no, some
it's probably-
support suites do that just so you can like put a file locally if you need to use it for like an install or something, or
yeah,
some of those use
is there a way to
cases.
transfer files back and forth?
Yeah, we haven't tried that, but I
Okay.
haven't seen it, so.
That's one thing I've used a lot using VNC.
Mhm.
We've used VNC extensively for
Really?
remote
That's a
support at work, huh?
VNC,
Yeah,
the video player?
it's
No,
That's
VLC.
VLC.
That's VLC.
it's VNC, yeah, I forget what VNC stands for, virtual network, something, but it's just a protocol and a program. The one we actually use is called Ultra VNC, which is only for Windows, but it works well. Anyway, one of the features that is really handy on that is the ability to copy files back and forth between the one computer and the other, so that then you can run an installer or
I think it's basically an SSH tunnel underneath it.
yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But it's makes it pretty easy. So it'd be interesting to see if the Google Remote Desktop has anything like that. Otherwise, you'd have to, find a cloud place to put a file and then download it, and could get a little messy.
According to this, you should use RDP on Ubuntu rather than VNC.
Or what?
Apparently they want you to use RDP, not VNC.
You can use either protocol, really.
Well, it says here that that VNC interferes with Wayland.
Mm.
Oh. Interesting. And there's another protocol that I use on to connect to my virtual machines that are running under KVM, QEMU, and that is Spice. But I don't know anything about it other than that's just, so when I use the
It's another
remote desktop,
protocol.
when I use the remote desktop viewer on my Ubuntu machine or on my Kubuntu laptop to connect to one of my virtual machines, instead of putting, VNC, whatever, I put Spice and the address. And so, yeah, just another remote control protocol, I guess, but I don't know the pros and cons or anything like that. It just was what defaulted to.
By the way, VNC stands for Virtual Network Computing.
So I thought, okay. All right. Well, Eric, are you ready to do your
Sure.
thing?
Do I need to put my mic on, or can they hear me through that? Does that mic pick me up?
If you do the mic, you also have to do the speakers, because otherwise we'll get echo stuff.
Michelle, can you hear me?
Are you
Yeah, I
plugged
can hear
in?
you fine.
Okay. Am I
Or-
plugged in?
Yeah, are you plugged
I'm just gonna
in?
share my screen, but whichever you wanna do.
No, I was saying you could come over here if you wanted to be a little closer to the microphone.
Can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you though. Okay, so there's some backstory here. I had an HP mini server that I was running pfSense, which is a firewall that runs on BSD. And I had some configuration changes I was trying to make on it. And the GUI indicated that they were made, but the effect at home was not. I was trying to turn off my kids' access to the network through their Chromebooks at, a certain time, and I found that they were still doing it. So I finally tried to do an update, and it failed on the GUI screen, and then so I rebooted the machine. And what I learned the hard way was that the hard drive had failed, and so any reconfiguration was failing. The existing configuration was still present in memory, so it would continue to run until I rebooted. So once I rebooted, I had a dead firewall. And so I got a laptop, I got a new hard drive, and I ran through the process I'm gonna show you here in a minute, and I restored the firewall. And then I got an OpenSense firewall, a solid state device, so I replaced it. So then I had this extra hard drive, which was really handy because then, let me share my screen. This was all within about a week's time frame. So this all, they say bad things happens in 3, so 2 of them have happened. Wait for the 3rd. Okay, so here I was booting up my Windows machine, and I've already gone through this process and corrected everything. So I tried to recreate to show you the screens that I was seeing. So forgive me, I'm taking pictures of a screen. So basically, my Windows 7 machine gave me this error. And I booted off of the an Ubuntu install. And it gives you the try Ubuntu. So I went to try Ubuntu, I opened up the terminal. And I tried to run Smart Control, which is a utility that diagnoses this and interfaces with the smart utilities that are built into SATA hard drives. I should say before I did that, I actually went and mounted the file system, the Windows NTFS file system, and saw that I could see all the files. They were all there. And what I theorized and have since proven was that there was a smart error and that it was retrying, but Windows was not waiting for the retries long enough. And so it would time out and give me that error that you saw before. So I booted this up. I ran the smart installs or smart mon tools install, and I ran it. I saw that my the drive I had that was failing is SDA1. My install disk was SDB. And then I plugged in my oh, actually not yet. I ran Smart Tools then on the SDA failing hard drive, and I got all kinds of fun errors that said that it was failing or it was old, which is accurate because it's about a 10-year-old hard drive. So I then went and let me switch to not that one. Find the right window here. I went and did some research well, first I tried to run ddrescue from that install disk, and it wouldn't let me install it. It would not let me install ddrescue on the Ubuntu, try Ubuntu, and I don't know why it wouldn't let me do it. But anyway, I Googled how to, get a install disk. And I found System Rescue, which is a Linux-based, USB install. And it this, which I highly recommend, you know, if you want to be able to rescue a drive, this is really easy to use. It has this download the latest, but be careful, if you download the latest, it says to use System Rescue USB writer, which I tried. And in this package, it tells you that it has, that if you get version greater than 11, greater than or equal to 11, you need version 1.03 of this software. The problem is they haven't released version 1.03 of this software. So, you know, I got an error, and so I went back to here and I said, download the latest, and it gave me a URL that, let's see, I think I edited the link, and it said it was version, where is the,
102. Like up there.
is it this one? Yeah, anyway, I found I could get the version 10.2 instead of 11, and then I was able to download it and install it. And so with that, it came up with this pretty grub interface. Oh, come on. All right, sensitive mouse. Which this is the grub interface, which I then booted that, and it comes up with this login, and then you can start X, so I can do it graphically, which I did. And you get this nice little graphical screen. Down here at the bottom left-hand corner, you can see, hopefully, that there's a terminal icon, which I opened, and then I ran ddrescue. And here's the help of ddrescue. And then the command, I plugged in a USB. I purchased a USB to SATA converter, which is like a $15 device that basically you can plug into USB, which gives you an IDE interface and a SATA interface and a third interface, I can't remember. But anyway, I just plugged my hard drive straight into that cord. It also has a power supply that you have to plug in, because it doesn't give enough power through the USB to power the hard drive. Anyway, I plugged it in, and you can see here it's from InfoStar. This is the message, by the way, in Linux. This is InfoStar. It's telling me that it attached as SDC. And so I ran, I did a list block, and I see that the drive A is the bad drive. Drive B is my thumb drive with the Linux rescue disk, and C is the new drive that actually isn't blank. It actually had a FreeBSD install on it from the thing I just talked to you about. And so I ran, there it is, a ddrescue with from A to C, and it took about 22 hours for it to actually run, and it only found 9 read errors, so I was really pleased. And then I was able to take out the old drive, put the new drive in, and my Windows 7 machine booted.
So
ddrescue copied everything over?
ddrescue copied everything over, yeah. And it's really powerful. You can tell it to retry, you know, n number of times if you want to, although they say that if you put it greater than 3, it likely won't succeed any better than 3 times. If it fails 3 times, it's not going to. But you can set it to infinity if you want, -1.
27 is not likely to be better.
Yeah.
So those errors you mentioned, we said 9.
It said 9 read errors, but it
Was-
retried and it
Oh, those were recovered.
yeah. those
Okay.
were recovery errors.
So there weren't any unrecoverable.
Yeah,
errors.
so this,
Oh, nice.
this, you know, this is copying at the block level, not at the file system level. So like I say, when I first did it, I was able to recover a BSD disk, which is formatted, you know, as proprietary BSD format. BSD pool, I think is what they call them, their file systems. And then this time it was able to do a block of NTFS and I was able to recover it, so.
Does this get, since it's doing block by block, does this get the boot sector and everything?
Yeah.
Everything comes over. Nice.
This was a 3 TB drive, and so it copied the whole thing. Like I say, block by block, it took 22 hours.
So
Now, part of that was because it's crossed a USB connection.
Yeah.
But, you know,
what would be the advantages of ddrescue over just DD?
You don't have to know how to use DD.
Well, there's that.
well, it uses a lot of the same parameters. As you can see, if I go back to it now, there are quite a bit of options that ddrescue has as far as very specific on how to how you want it to copy.
And this
How
is
do you
your
want to do it?
PF Sense install that you rescued, right?
What you witnessed there was my recreation of my Windows 7
Okay.
rescue, but I had done a PF Sense 7 days earlier.
Okay. That was your original use for this.
That was my original use,
PF
yes,
Sense, okay.
yeah.
You copy the UUID?
I think I did have to reset the UUID,
Okay.
yeah, when I moved it up that first time.
Could you elaborate on that just a little bit, because I'm not sure I fully understand.
A UUID is assigned to every piece of hardware, and so in the registry of the Windows 7 system, it said, hey, you know, this is the hard drive I'm normally booting off of, and your UUID didn't match, and I can't remember exactly what the error was, but
Is
there.
that part of secure boot?
I
know
don't
all
think so,
that-
because I didn't have you secure, I don't have secure boot on that.
I think it's an artifact when you're at like a single use computer, but like on virtual machines. So when you vMotion from one server to another physical server, it needs to know what the UUID is so that the new server, because it might not be SDA, right? It might be SDQ on the new server, right? When you vMotion a virtual machine over. So it has to have that UUID so that the server knows how to boot up. So right, the SD numbers can be dramatically different between a server running 10 virtual machines and one running 15. And you take one of these and put it over here, that's the 16th. So the UUID is a unique identifier for that disk, so that that server knows how to boot. It boots off that unique identifier rather than an SD number.
So you had to do something to tell Windows 7
Yeah,
what
it
the new
complained on the
UUID.
boot. Again, I apologize, I don't remember what the error was, but I had to tell it to use the new UUID.
Surprised Windows 7 uses UUIDs.
It's like if you were booting, like your FSTAB has the UUID that it uses that, to make sure it's got the right disk, so. Like by duplicating it that way, if you had the duplicate and the original both in the same machine, it would be trying to boot off of both of
I was
them.
gonna see if your
like
Mac
original.
won't have that.
And that can just cause some problems. You might
Oh, it
be
does.
Well, no,
doing stuff on
Yeah.
one versus.
Linux uses
SSH
UIDs on
into
disk.
my Linux
Yep.
machine. So, yeah, so this is my Linux machine, on my home network that I just SSH into, and you can see the UUIDs for the different drives that I have connected. And,
And there's a utility that'll. I try to just remember what the web page is because I don't have to do it very often, but there's a utility that you can go find the UUID of a disk if you can't find it.
And it's not something that's in the data blocks of the disk, it's something
yeah, it's in the.
in the
EEPROM,
hardware.
not the-
Okay, I got you.
not the,
I've always been a
not
little
the disk
confused
itself,
about
not the-
that.
Not right.
So it's kind of like a serial number, but I think you can change it.
You can exactly.
Yeah, it should be randomized fully so that there should never be duplicates unless you duplicate it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my presentation. I
Nice.
did run across, I have a new employee today that I was showing some stuff on. And I think I demonstrated this here a year or two ago, but there's some capabilities that I put into my shell script that I think are really handy. One of them is like, a directory history. So like if I want to see where I've been, I use that, which is, it is just an example that shows me some directories that I've been to, and I can switch to them very easily, like just CD dash. Like if I want to go CD1, it'll take me to that directory. And then another one that I do is my command history, which you know the history command, right? It's pretty familiar with that. It shows you your last thing. But I have an embellished one that shows me all of the history, the commands I did and when I did them and where I was at in my file system when I did them.
Oh,
And then this one, as you can see, is going back every command that I've ever typed on that laptop since I installed it, which was in 2022. So it's, you know, page after page after page. And what's really handy is like, oh, what was that command that I needed to do a repo in it or something? And then I can.
Yep. Well, the way we use it was we're a big
Nice.
system. We've got like 10 people on our team. And somebody made a box 10 years ago. And now this customer that no one's logged into that box for 5 years, right? Goes, oh, I need to recreate this. And we're like, well, what did you do? You do a history, pipe it to a file, and you can at least go figure out what somebody did 10 years ago.
oh, nice,
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
because it puts everything in order. And man, I have rebuilt applications using history from somebody that did it 5 years ago.
GeoCities, I thought GeoCities
Yeah.
didn't exist.
Well, I don't know if it does actually,
Yeah.
but this is
Yeah,
this script
yeah.
I copied out of this. This is where I got it from, so I was taking a note of it. But if anybody wants it, I can send you this link. And then the other one is. I got it. And that one's from, that one's from this link, so I can paste those in. If anybody's interested.
In the chat, yeah,
You could send them to the mailing list
that too.
for those of us that aren't on chat today.
Good point.
Mhm.
Chat's kind of ephemeral anyway, so.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can do it. I can send.
If you want to look at that DLUG, I've got it on virtual, so this is. But you know, you could poke around on it.
Okay. What was I gonna say? You were talking about the USB to hard drive interface or SSD.
Yeah, you know.
Interface, the hardware thing.
I have a link. I bought that from Amazon, so I can pull that up real quick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one has IDE and yes, you should screen. So the first thing, I purchased this little computer. This was like $230, I think it was, something like that. This is what I put open source on, or OpenSense, excuse me, when I replaced PFSense. This is a solid state guy. And this is the guy that I use.
So I'm interested, have you done a speed test? Are you
Oh,
actually getting your 1 gig throughput through your interfaces?
Well, I don't know because I only get about 800 megabits.
Well, I had to protect I don't know, the name brand, one of those little boxes, right?
Yeah.
And I had OpenSense on it and I couldn't get it to go over 100 meg.
Oh, well, do you know a command line, if you know a command line,
Yeah.
utility, I can remember, right?
I don't remember what the hell.
Let's see if there's a
Uh,
speed.
No, it wasn't speed test. It's,
iPerf, but usually you need a server. You're
Yeah.
trying.
yeah, I think I just did an if config and it showed it up at 100.
Well, let's find out. This will,
I'm using just one of those little Chinese firewall boxes with four
Yeah, I mean, I tried
2.5
every single port on it.
gig ports on it. And I'm definitely getting at least a good portion of my 500 meg that I've got at my new house.
there's bravery, piping something I've never looked at into bash.
Yeah, but that's gonna give you your down, well, I think I just did an if config and
If config isn't going to tell you,
it doesn't tell you the speed, IPA, I don't remember.
Yeah,
Oh
you-
no, I got pissed off and threw it away, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's when you buy those things, it's not really a name brand or anything. It's really hard to.
East
I bought
East Tool will
those.
report the settings.
What is it?
East Tool.
East Tool, ETHDOOL, yeah.
Okay. I muted it up if you want.
you need to have a server someplace, don't you?
No,
That's gonna be like just what the port negotiated, right? Like,
yeah,
so you like if you could use like iPerf, but if you had like
Yeah.
usually it's a server and a client if you're trying to like test the bandwidth between it then.
You can do it to itself and just kind of how fast can it go over loopback using iPerf.
That should be, that's not testing the network, because it doesn't have to leave your computer to go to itself. Doesn't even have to
Well,
leave.
yeah, but.
But it's
it
like a
wasn't the
theoretical
network.
limit of how well your box can do. But I mean, it is handling both ends though. But and the USB-C interface, I was getting, I think 10 gig between two boxes.
I don't think I've networked anything with USB-C before.
I have Thunderbolt, but yeah, you ought to try it. It's
Neat.
it's a cheap way to get big pipe.
So this is my network at home. Now, I can't guarantee my wife isn't streaming tennis right now while she's watching this, so,
You got 62 megabit down.
yeah, that's pretty crappy. 37 up is actually pretty good for my house, because normally it's around 10. So,
Do you have iPerf on your box?
I do, but I don't have a server running.
I mean, you run it, just do it to itself as an example. Use another window or something. And run the server in a window and then client in a window. Or server in the background and then client.
S is the server one, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, there. And then client side is the one that's trying to hit the listening. Yeah.
Stop. No, it's running. Okay. That's my,
5100, 5001.
You can use 0 and it'll find it.
Local host.
oh, okay. Like that?
C and 0. Yeah, that'll work. Should work. I would use C.
Dash C for the client.
Oh.
Get connected.
That's pretty fat pipe.
Yeah,
Well, like I say, it's not even going across the network, so.
It's an internal network, virtual network.
But I could, let's see, is the host.
It's wireless.
I can run it from my Mac and see what I can get to it. I don't have micro install on the Mac.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take us down that rat hole, but.
No, it's fun. Rabbit holes are fair game. Heck, at dynamic languages, rabbit holes, the majority of the meetings. So.
Well, if it was easy, everybody already knows how to do it, right?
Say 100 megabit. So yeah, it's probably there's probably 100 megabit switch between the two.
Yeah.
Can't remember the topology between those two off the top of my head. I thought it would be gigabit. I didn't know I still had 100 megabit switch in there.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe I know, maybe you're right, so.
Maybe you don't.
Yeah.
That was a couple, 3 years ago, I ran into that. I got to,
Well, actually, this wouldn't be going across that firewall.
except you ran the server on the firewall, right?
No, the server on the left, the big screen is my laptop. The one on the right is on the same subnet. So
Oh, no, you need to be right on your OpenSense box. To see what.
Okay, well, I can do that too. Let's do that. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really know exactly what you're getting with these, this cheap Chinese firewall
Well, I
boxes.
bought the Protect CTL.
What's that?
I bought the kind of the name brand one.
Oh, okay. But I've been reasonably happy with the ones I bought, except the first one I bought after a year or so, the motherboard failed, and or after a little less than a year, motherboard failed, and the support was ridiculous. Like he wanted me to mail it back to China and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Well, I even went so far, I even went and installed like a Ubuntu on it, right? And I still was only getting 100 meg.
yeah,
So
sounds
I
like a
obviously
hardware.
got some crappy piece of
a
hardware.
hardware thing, yeah. And then the second model that I bought, I went ahead and bought two of them for redundant, so I'd have one on the shelf. And now since I'm moving, right now I have one in my current house and one in the new house. And they're working pretty well with OpenSense. The new one I'm using MetroNet. And I got a 500 megabit connection and a static IP.
Do you remember what the equivalent is to install a package on OpenSense?
I've not done it from the command line.
Luckily, we have this thing.
Actually, try ifconfig-a. It says it should show you the speed.
That's just gonna be what it negotiated on the NIC though. It won't show like if you're trying to like test the link.
I mean, that was where my problem was. It wouldn't negotiate a gig.
It was like it was stuck in 100 meg mode.
Yeah, and all 4 NICs.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, no.
In the BIOS setting, you could change.
When you
right,
say
for
it was
most of-
config,
-A. So you need to scroll up to not the VLANs, to the real ones.
Okay, so
Mhm.
that's my WAN.
Yeah, see, that's one gig full duplex. Where it says, look for the line media, right? And then your IGC one is at 1 gig, 100 meg full duplex. 100 base TX, right?
Right, the other ones, the other two are 1,000 ones. So one-
And those are the ones,
Interesting, because that's right in the middle of it for,
yeah, I wonder what that's hooked to. Are you using all 4 NICs?
no,
That may be an unused NIC, maybe. I mean, it came up, but. Well, no, it's a 172.16.22.1. You have a 172 network in your house?
that's a VLAN, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the WAN address. So. Yeah, that's my local network.
Yeah, it's your internal.
This is a, private network for my camera system, and this one